So before we start today, we'll have a little meditation, say a few minutes, just to concentrate, because we are coming from various places. After that, we'll have an opening song, and then the proceeding. We chant Omkar 3 times and just meditate. So I'll request Mrs. Chanda Roy to sing a song.
Maheshwara Guru Saksat Parama Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Akhanda Mandalakaram Yaptam Yana Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Agyanatimirandhassa Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Saksat Parama Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Saksat Parama Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sabhagaya Cha Dharmasya Sarva Dharma Sarupine Avtara Varisthaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Janani Saradam Devi Rama Krishna Jagadguru Pado Padme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Janani Saradam Devi Rama Krishna Jagadguru Pado Padme Tayo Shritva Pranamami মা আছে না আপনাকে ছেড়ে আমার মা আছে না আমি আছি আপনাকে ছেড়ে আমার মায়ের হাতে খাই মুড়ি, মায়ের হাতে খাই মুড়ি, মা আছে না আমি আছি আপনাকে ছেড়ে আমার মা আছে না আমি আছি আপনাকে ছেড়ে আমার সংসার পাকে ঘুরবি পাকে যখন দেখবি অন্ধকার সংসার পাকে ঘুরবি পাকে যখন দেখবি অন্ধকার আমি যে মায়ের মামা, স্নেহের আধার মাঝে আমার। আমি যে মায়ের মামা, মা আছেন আর আমি আছি, ভাবনা কি আছে আমার। মায়ের হাতে পড়ি, মায়ের হাতে পড়ি, মানিয়েছেন আমার ভার। মা আছে না আমি আছি, ভাবনা কি আছে আমার। মা ভাবনা কি আছে আমার, ভাবনা কি আছে আমার, ভাবনা কি আছে
Respected Maharaj and dear friends. This is the second day. We had a retreat yesterday in 3 sessions. Today, Swamiji will give a talk on a very nice subject. He will introduce that topic because I don't know about it. What the topic is.
I also don't know about it.
Cybernetics, something cybernetics. The burden of this song that you have heard is, there is mother. I belong to mother, so what is the worry? There is no worry. In the beginning, she started with Guru Pranam. Guru is Brahma, Guru is Vishnu, Guru is and Maheshwara. And after that, the running translation is that when there is mother, so why to worry? So this state is very nice. When we are surrounded by some difficulties, mother will take care. So have faith on her. So this is the beginning, and now we can talk about a little of this, humor. This is our tradition. If you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you'll find the whole atmosphere was jovial. So humor plays a great role in our lives because humor opens up our understanding so that we can understand difficult and archaic topic like Maharaj is going to take, so that will open up our understanding what he wants to tell about it. In our tradition, not only in the Ramakrishna mission, but we find one of our sage. His name was Narada. or still he is living, so we can say his name is Narada. And he takes various incarnations. But the main thing is, though he is full of faith, Shraddha, one-pointed devotion, and also Prajna. Prajna is wisdom. His manifestation of Prajna and Shraddha, one-pointed devotion and also wisdom. And to the extreme, infinite proportion. In spite of that, he would create some situation, glorify God. I mean, God is not known, who is there, where is sitting, on which tree he is sitting. So it's difficult to get him. So he'll make a situation to understand what this aspect, or what is his aspect, various aspects are there. So Narada also created many situations which is jovial also, so that we understand what is being said. So in short while we'll understand a little manifestation of that. Because Maharaj is going to talk about very grave topic, but with a humor. So with this introduction, let us listen from Maharaj.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Mam Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, and from this limited mortal existence to the immortal, eternal, absolute existence. Peace, peace, peace. Today's topic, the title is somewhat, a modern sounding or a funny title, but the topic is the same that we discuss in Vedanta, that how to attain to peace and so forth. So don't worry that, don't think that I'm going to tell something very difficult, but I will be using certain terms to create some better understanding of how our mind works and how we can attain peace in life. It is, first of all, let us remember this, that it is my responsibility. For everyone, one should say that it is my responsibility to be peaceful. It is not the responsibility of world. It is not the responsibility of people near and dear to me. None of them can make me peaceful. It is my responsibility. Swami Vivekananda says that Vedanta puts all the burden on one's own shoulder. It is our own mind needs to be trained to feel the peace. It is, first of all, let us get clear on this point, that it is, I want peace. And also, it is basically, primarily my responsibility. And if it is my responsibility, then if I am not getting peace, whose is the fault?
Mine.
Mine, exactly. Thank you. It is my fault, not this fault of my mother-in-law or because that otherwise comes handy, not fault of anybody else. It is my fault. And then where should I bring the change? Not to something else. We have to change ourselves so that we will be peaceful in all circumstances. Let us get this very straight, clear, that nobody is going to make me peaceful. It is my responsibility. I have to make myself, and I can do that. It is, and responsibility is to be used, word used in that sense. I am responsible. It is, somebody had applied for a job, and then when the person was called for interview, and the interviewing people saw that this person is not capable of handling this very serious position that requires lot of skills. So they told that it is sorry, dear, but we cannot give you this job because for this purpose we need a really very responsible person. And this person said, what do you mean? I am very responsible person because at our home, if things go wrong, then people say, point to me, you are responsible. So I must be thus very responsible person because I am being told you are responsible. So it is. So I should get this job. No, not that kind of being responsible. But one should take the burden on oneself that it is primarily my duty to make me peaceful and nobody else's duty primarily. It is nobody has time to make you disturbed or peaceful. Everything we ourselves do. So, as this famous text in Vedanta says, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho, that mind alone is the instrument by which we get bound or we get liberated. There is this instrument is capable if handled properly. In Bhagavad Gita, you also read that mind alone is our good friend if properly trained. Nobody else. Mind is our best friend. And mind is our worst enemy if it is not under control. So, control is the key word. And this science of cybernetics, this word was used in 1940s for the purpose of guided missiles. That they will be controlled according to the information that they receive. So the information related response, information related control, and that is called cybernetics. It developed as a branch of applied mathematics. So the idea here is that there is two components. One is to sense and the other is to respond. our so many systems that our body works with are really cybernetic systems. For example, that there is commonly in most people, unless there is some health issue, this system that you feel hungry. When the food is needed, then you feel hungry. And now this is a sensation. Now that makes you search for the food. And then when you eat food, when it is enough, then the control comes there that there is the mechanism there that the saliva production stops. And thus you cannot eat anything more. That is how it is. The information is there, that sensitivity, that there is enough food now, so it should stop. So there is this sensor which tells us how much is to be taken, whether it is your need for food is now finished or not, or otherwise in some cases, especially with age and irregular habits of taking food, that sensor doesn't work. And so the system becomes therefore not really conducive to health. A person may not eat when there is actually need of food. And if the food is there, he will keep on eating even though there is no need, because that sensor related controls are absent. So in our pancreas is a very good example that how the blood supply of sugar into the blood goes. It is determined that, well, how much is needed and how much is supplied. Accordingly, it happens. But if pancreas doesn't work properly or there are other difficulties, then more sugar gets pushed into the blood. And sometimes, even if it is needed, it doesn't get pushed. So, therefore, this happens that the controls are very important, that by this controlled governed system, that there is the information, and then according to that information, your operation gets determined, well directed. It is another very good example is our respiratory system. We breathe. But then, according to the need, the breath should happen. Forget those who know this, do pranayama and they conscientiously can control their breathing. We all have that capability, but look at how naturally it gets controlled. That when there is more need of oxygen, automatically the lungs, they get the signal to breathe more and more. If you are running, then you naturally you need more oxygen, and then your lungs operate faster and you get more oxygen thereby. So this is the sensor and then sensor related response. So sensing and responding to that, that is the basis, that idea of a cybernetic system, information related control. So everywhere you see, like you may have a thermostat, I see there. It is a cybernetic system. It senses the temperature. For example, suppose you need the temperature, a good temperature here, 70 degrees or 65 degrees, whatever. What temperature normally is kept here, Maharaj?
70.
70. So suppose you need 70 degrees. Now, there is a sensor there. It tells the temperature is only 50. Now the heating starts. It kickstart the heating so that more heat comes in and temperature rises to say 70. If it goes beyond 70, say it becomes 72, then it senses that temperature and sends the signal. Hey, stop. The heating system stops. So this is how the control mechanism externally in these, our body also has thermostasis, that temperature of the body gets controlled accordingly. There is, you go out in very hot weather, and the temperature of the body, it wants the temperature should be at 98 or so. Now the outside temperature is, say, I came from a region where the temperatures in summer would soar to 115 regularly, I mean. So if it is 115 outside, you'll die unless there is the cooling system, because the body mechanism works at 98. So immediately the cooling system inside the body kicks start. The sweat starts coming. And then as the sweat comes, it evaporates, and then you feel cool. Therefore, you must have noticed this, not just high temperature, you feel very suffocating. If the temperatures are high, but not only that, there is a lot of humidity. What happens when there is humidity? The sweat does not get evaporated fast enough to cool the body. And thus, you see the rivers of sweat as it were flowing, from the body. But it doesn't do the job of cooling efficiently, because it depends on how fast it gets evaporated. So what do? Then you go where there is a fan. What happens with fan? The sweat starts getting evaporated and you feel cool. Even though the fan is blowing hot air, but at least it is blowing air so that it cools your body to the desired temperature. So that is how this is the cybernetic system. So everything is controlled like that. As you get the information, so a response to make that situation what we want. Doesn't matter what is the temperature outside. We want the body temperature to be about 98. Whatever may be the temperature outside, that you have no control over. But you want the temperature inside 70 degrees. So that is how you build that kind of a system here. So that when the temperature outside goes too low, a response comes. There is the heating starts and the temperature is brought to 70. If it is very hot outside, then the cooling system starts. It's the same idea. So now this cybernetic system, this whole science of cybernetics, it gradually grew into what is called, that word has become very common, cyberspace. Means this information space. That space is not a physical space, but the information. So science of information also started getting called this cybernetics. So it is, these days that word is not used, but then in about 1990 or so, in India, I used to see many cyber cafes. Cyber cafe. What did it do? In cyber cafe, you have the availability of internet that you can connect to, and thus you can, whatever work you wanted to do, you could do, because it takes you to this cyberspace. So that is, it developed a lot, but in 1960s, this word psycho-cybernetics was coined by one who was basically a cosmetic physician, cosmetic surgeon. That gets called also plastic surgeon. So it is not that the fellow is dealing with plastic, but I mean this changing the appearance to make it pleasant. So for a long time, his name was Maxwell Maltz. And his book, he wrote a book after a lot of investigations and studies, his own experience, that, see, people, they think, many have this idea, especially many young women used to come to him thinking that they don't look good because of, say, my nose is rather too long or too short, and therefore nobody is liking me. So, can you fix my nose? And then, yes, he would do the proper surgery, and then the nose. This is just an example that he had quoted in his book. That is, the nose was now made a normal looking nose. Yeah, you know that story about nose, it is, people have different sizes, different shapes of nose, now here there are about 35, 40 people. Everybody's nose is a bit different. So it is. Now, what happened was, at one home, there was one lady was there, and she had a little mischievous child, and some prominent guest was going to visit their home. Now the guest had no other problem as such, but had somewhat rather too long a nose. And then the mother was conscious that maybe in this child, he would look at it and make some remark that will insult this very respected guest who is coming. So she kept on warning that whole morning, hey, in 1 hour that guest is coming, don't look at his nose like that. Because children have various ways of making fun. So don't look at like the nose, don't say anything about it. Just behave well. It is, but she was still very worried about when the guest came, and she was very concerned that, well, what the child will do now. So always thinking like that. And then she was serving some refreshments to the guest. There was, so she brought coffee to the guest. And then, of course, she was going to put and some milk or cream or sugar. And so she asked to the guest, sir, would you take some cream or milk in your nose? Because constantly she was thinking about nose, you see. So, would you like to take some milk or cream in your nose? So, it is just a story. What I mean is our mind keeps on, thinking about it. You want to keep the other fellow, that little child, disciplined. But what about you yourself? So it is. Turning now back to that incident that Dr. Maxwell Maltz noted, was that that problem was fixed. But still the depressed attitude of that lady didn't go away. She still felt, oh, nobody likes me. Nobody becomes friendly to me. And that continued like that very despondent, depressive attitude. So, what it tells to a scientific mind, nose, shape of the nose, or whatever, that was not the cause of feeling depressed, because that was corrected. And still the depressed attitude continued. And he found it with so many people that they felt depressed. They felt that inferiority complex. And they thought that the reason is my appearance. Some of their acquaintances might also have told them that that is because of this, people don't like you. So the cosmetic surgeon could correct that to some extent. So the surgeon did it, but the inferiority complex or the depressed attitude did not go. So he decided there that he must dwell deeper, not into just the problem is not limited to physical appearance, but you have to go deeper. And he started studying psychology, and then came up with this idea that we have to correct not the nose or our physical appearance, but to correct our self-image. Self-image gets formed in everybody. I am so and so. So this image gets formed very easily. Nobody likes me. I'm depressed. You automatically, in fact, one starts, liking that kind of idea. Becomes melancholy, and then starts writing poetry about it and so forth. This world and that has no meaning, and because not that the fellow is Vedantin, but they feeling depressed, there is no happiness in this world, because that is the happiness of this fellow, to write poems about despondency. So it goes into that despondency, depressed attitude, and suffers also because of that. So this problem is not related to physical appearance. This problem is deeper. You form a self-image. I am so and so. So it is, you make some mistake, and then what happens? You fail. It is a commonly occurring condition with people. That is why I took up this topic. That, this always happens to me. I always fail. I am not successful at all in life. See, this is what happened. Now, everybody gets failures in life, because without failures, nobody climbs the ladder of success. Have you seen a child who, a baby, let us say, a baby learning to walk without falling any time? It is not possible. That falling is necessary for the baby to learn walk properly. Because as the baby starts, or as it falls, there is the corrective message sent to the brain. Again, that is how, it is a cyber system. that it is the sensor takes that message to the brain. See, you put your foot like this and so you fell. Now make the correction. So there is the corrective response that comes because of that. So this is how the failures are necessary to become successful. That is why they say that it is the failure is the first step to success. It is, you fail. In fact, there is one nice cartoon I saw that a person is having a lot of failures, and so he had put all those signs of failure around and put them on the ground, and so many times I failed. Oh my goodness. Another fellow, he arranges those in a ladder form. And then you can climb on the ladder, on the steps of failure, you start climbing to success. So it is our understanding. As yesterday, that was once I made that comment in yesterday's retreat, that while our thinking is rational, our behavior is irrational. It is, see, our thinking. If you observe, I failed once or twice. The message that is sent and getting converted in our approach to ourselves becomes, I fail always. I always fail. Now, this becomes then your self-image. I am the one who fail always. And we go to protect that image. And so what should we do to protect that image? Fail, exactly. You keep on failing always because you want to preserve your self-image. I'm the one who fail always. So I have to fail. Otherwise, my self-image will get destroyed. So if you observe what is happening really, correctly record it. Do not distort that recording that I failed once, I failed twice. That's fine. Everybody fails. What is wrong about that? Do not distort or convert it by saying, I always failed. It is not possible for anybody to always fail. It is, if we take the proper lesson from failure, we will succeed. It is, otherwise, I always fail. And this is actually one of those statements which can never be true, that I am always wrong. Somebody said, I am always wrong. And then when he did something wrong, he told, did I not tell you that I am always wrong? But then in this you have been correct, isn't it? That you were always wrong. And that statement became correct statement. So you are not always wrong. You were not always wrong. This is correct, something that you said. You can never have this vow that I will always tell lie. Because if you fulfill that vow, that means you have told the truth. And so you are not telling lie always. So this kind of a negative attitude is not going to be, you cannot hold on to it. And so even if you try, you cannot hold on to it, and that makes you very depressed, that I am like that. So the corrective is to be applied to this self-image. And he has given many techniques, but in our this Vedanta and yoga technology is far superior to that. in correcting this self-image. It is, he didn't say that in that book, but Vedanta tells. That book I got to read in 1990, in 1997 or 8. Although it was published in 1960, I found it in our library in Shillong. And it was very interesting book. You can read it, very nice. So it is, but that is the techniques that he has suggested are not as effective as the techniques suggested by Patanjali and many sages. That it is, do not depress yourself, do not debase yourself. That it is, as Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Uddhared Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avasadayet Atmaiva hi Atmano Bandhu Atmaiva Ripuratmana. Never let yourself down. It is always try to uplift yourself. And you are your best friend and you are your worst enemy. So that is how this is the great idea that is being presented in Bhagavad Gita. So never think that you are nobody and what will happen to you. And then people start taking pride in that. How humble I am, see. It is. So it is a distorted mock humbleness, humility. So what is to be done is that lift yourself up. They correct your self-image. And what correct self-image that we should have? Each soul is potentially divine. That it is a great statement of Vivekananda. Do we believe this? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Say loudly, yes. We accept this. Each soul is potentially divine. Now it has two aspects. First is, yes, each soul means I am divine. I am divine. Do we get this? Each soul means it includes me. So I am divine. I am divine. And let us tell that to ourselves. I am divine. I am divine. But potentially means that is not manifested. That also is the idea, it is one has to therefore manifest that divinity. Swami Vivekananda, where he gives all these great 4 aphorisms, he says that is the goal, to manifest this divinity in life. That it is true, I am divine, but divine potentially. There is the potency, and it has the capability. It has to manifest. Each soul, I am divine, I am potentially divine. So our self-image has to be made accordingly, that I am divine, and then I have to manifest this divinity in life. That is the core message of Vedanta, that says that you are the essence of the whole universe. All is you. Do not get swayed by what this person and that person says. I am divine. And what does it mean? Can that divine be depressed? Imagine, not possible. So how can I be depressed because of this reason or that reason? How can I get upset? I am divine. So that brings us, with this conviction, I am divine, and the goal is to manifest this potential divinity. And how to do it? That is called yoga. That yoga is, thus Swami Vivekananda concludes those four aphorisms that practicing this yoga, that is controlling nature, external and internal. So that is all of religion. Other things are secondary details, means as per need for this primary purpose, you apply those. So this is the Vedantic way of Psycho-Cybernetics. It is very important to deal with this, our mind, ourselves. As I first said, we have to take responsibility. Don't blame anybody. What did Holy Mother say? If you want peace, don't find faults with others. It is such a simple technique, and it is so effective, so efficacious that you will not lack peace of mind if we apply this simple principle. If you want peace, do we want peace?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely no doubt about it. And we want peace. Once Swami Sridharananda Ji, he had come to give a retreat. I was in Nagpur. And then somebody in the retreat asked this question, Swami, I want peace. And then there was a board there. On that board, he wrote, I want peace. And then he rubbed out he rubbed out want, and said, what is remaining?
Peace.
What is remaining?
Peace.
Peace. So that is the way to get peace. Rub out the ego and rub out the desires, and then there is the peace. So do not find fault with anybody. Look into your own faults. That is correct self-image. It is, nobody is paying us to find their faults. Unless you are a professional auditor or something like that. But otherwise, nobody is paying you to find faults. Why take up that additional burden and disturb yourself? It is, you keep, therefore lose the peace of mind. This simple technique, that how to get peace. Do not find faults with others. Mother doesn't say that there are no faults with others. There may be. Is it your concern? No. What if you do find the faults of that person? They don't get corrected there. Also, you were otherwise peaceful. But why this fellow is doing like this? Why? Oh, man, this is all your body. What happened now? My peace has gone out of windows. That is why we become devoid of peace. If you think that your spouse is going to make you peaceful, well, I don't have to say. It is. It is. You have to make yourself peaceful. So and how to do it? Patanjali has given a very nice technique here. A wonderful aphorism in that yoga is this, that we go into various situations. Again, like the different temperatures, and so you have the control, that according to the your need, you respond and put the system in such a way that you get what the right temperature or that's the right situation is. So you respond according to the situation. That is the psycho-cybernetics, that responding accordingly. Most of us have this problem that as such, when I am alone, I am fine. It is, but when now such people in the world, we forget that we are in the world. And one very beautiful, very touching, very illuminating passage, Swami Vivekananda says that, okay, suppose we get a world where everybody is very, very honest, everybody is truthful to the core, everybody is very philanthropic and helpful to each other. There is no evil person, no thief, nothing like that. Suppose you get a world like that, then ask this question: will I get entry into that world then? Will I get entry into that world? No, because I tell lies sometimes. I have. Sometimes I have not been so unselfish as I should be. I have sometimes shown my temper and said things that I shouldn't have said. So how can I get entry into that ideal space? There is, and thus, we should not have this idea that there will be some, in poetry and all, it is okay, but such a space doesn't exist. So we think that it is, let me live in a space of myself. It is, and then I will be peaceful. When I mix with people, then the problem comes. It is, otherwise, left to myself, I am a very peaceful person. Now the problem becomes, if you are left to yourself, you have the problem of loneliness. You want your own space, I one man that I was very new to this country and I didn't know this terminology. One of the devotees, he came and he was saying that he was feeling sad. Oh, Swami, I am very sad today. What happened? That today my wife said in the morning to me that, hey, Paul, I want my space. So I didn't get the meaning. I said, okay, if she wants her space, what is wrong? Well, that means she wants me out of the house. Oh, is it so? Yeah, it is. I want my space. How long? Well, it is. No. And then sometimes the children also hear parents talking like that. One little girl in our children's camp, she started crying, sobbing. What happened, dear? No, I want my space. I want my own space. What is this? And you can't stay there. Okay, go to your space. 5 minutes, then you feel that no, you have to need to get connected with people, and so that is stopped. So we get disturbed when we interact with other people, and we have this misconception: left to myself, I am peaceful. No, you want to connect to others. Otherwise, your mind it starts running right there. So you want to get connected. But yet, that those connections disturb you because we do not have a properly trained psycho-cybernetics system installed. That needs to be installed. And Patanjali gives that how it should be installed. That aphorism is, I'll say the original aphorism, then translate it. Maitri Karuna Mudita Upekshanam Sukha Dukha Punya Punya Bhavanatas Chitta Prasadanam. Good sign. So it is that how to respond to different situations. This is the technique that one has to find out. So it is, we face situations that is happiness, sukha, dukkha, punya, and apunya. Means sukha is a happy situation. Then there is the dukkha, means unhappy situations. That there is painful situation. Then there is the some good, nice, welcome things are happening, and some evil things are happening. So in these four situations, these are four broad categories that we face. Now the response from us to maintain inner peace, Chitta prasadanam, it is not the absence of peace, but it is more positive something. You feel happy, serene, and so forth. A positive feeling, that is prasad, chitta prasadanam. Your mind becomes now positively poised. It has the goodwill for everyone, and so forth. So it is in a positive state of mind. So how to bring it there? So when you find that a person is happy, Maitri, feel that, connect to that person on a friendly footing. That yes, that person is happy, so it is like my becoming happy. So connecting with that, what will happen? That happiness, contagious, it will come to you. So that is how, when you see that somebody is happy, connect to it by the feeling of friendship. Why this is to be told? Because that is not what happens. If you see somebody happy, you start feeling jealous. Oh, see, such people in this world, they get all these nice things. And honest people like me suffer. All nonsense. You pile on more suffering on yourself by thinking like that. Well, if that person is happy, try to feel happy in that person's happiness. It is something that we have to give training to our mind. Don't feel jealous about somebody becoming happy. Somebody won the lottery. The other fellow keeps on lamenting. Oh, my number was just one less, and so I didn't win. How that fellow won, and so forth. So not only that person has lost money, didn't get it. Actually, it is not a loss. Loss may be $1 or whatever that he spent for purchasing the ticket. It is, but loses the peace of mind and keeps on imagining, had my number been that, and then how I would have got so much money. It is not that the idea of getting money is always bringing us happiness. It brings, in fact, more worries. But it is, there is a nice story. A man was suffering from heart disease. Lot of, the weak heart. So he hit a big lottery, a jackpot. So his wife saw that, he was not yet aware. He was actually admitted to the hospital. And so the wife said, should I break this news to him? The doctor said, no, his condition, he will not be able to withstand that shock. So I will slowly break that news to him gradually. So being his doctor, he went to see him in the hospital. Hi Tim, how are you doing today? Oh, this patient responded, so nice of you, John, that you came today to see me. I'm improving under your this careful, treatment. I'm gradually improving. Wow, good idea. Good. I'm happy to hear that. Continue with this improvement. Suppose it is just I thought that what people are going to do with their money. So this is a question that I have for you, that suppose you get $5 million. Suppose you get $5 million, what are you going to do? Oh, John, what am I going to do? I will give half of it to you. And this doctor got a big heart attack and died. This patient, it was just an imagination, nothing like. But for the doctor, it is a real prospect, you see. And so the doctor got the shock of his life and died there. So what it is the how to handle the situation psychologically, it's very important. So if you feel that somebody is happy, join in that happiness. Yes, wow, very good. It is. If the situation is painful, there is misery, everybody sometimes suffers. That person is sick or is having some big losses in life. And so forth, there are bereavements and so forth. So that there is the misery in that person's life, dukkha. So how will you respond there? Karuna, feel compassion about it. This is again to be practiced, whosoever that fellow may be, but the feeling of compassion should rise there. Not these people, such people deserve this. Good. God taught him a good lesson. That should not be the attitude. Attitude should be, well, somebody is suffering and feel that compassion for that person. And what the effect is, that again you join with that person on a very peaceful footing and without any conflict there. So, Maitri, Karuna. Then there is so many people are doing good in this world, punya. Nice things are being done. Now again there is, I did it or you did it. Who will get the credit for that? In politics, we see it all the time. And the Democrats would never agree that the Republicans have done something good, and same the Republicans will not. No. So it is, people do good. So rejoice in that. That yes, it is mudita. That happy, yes, good things are happening. It is very nice that people are doing some such things. You have not done it, but again connect it on that plane in a right positive manner. So thus you become mudita by that, happy. It is by connecting somebody's good work is there. And the last part is very tricky. Many questions get asked about it. What if you see lot of bad things happening? How can you remain calm? And don't you see so much of evil happening there? One young girl had come to Providence, some devotee, but she was very disturbed. She said to me, I didn't broach the topic at all. She had come for a visit. I didn't even know her much. She came from some other place and was a devotee at that place. So she came to see and then said, what do you think, Swami, about this, all this world? Everything is breaking up. There is that Brexit. At that time, that word had become very popular. Britain exiting. United Kingdom exiting from the European Union. So, what do you want to say about it? Is it right or is it not right? I said, sorry, I have not enough understanding of that. And whatever those people decide, let them decide. So I cannot give any opinion on that. But this should not happen. And we should go and stop it. Oh my goodness, how are you going to stop that? Do you have any way of stopping it? No, you are not the British citizen. They are deciding according to their own system and they will have the benefits or the loss due to that. And then the other people in the world also will secondarily have the effect of it. Can you stop it? No. Then why are you, spoiling your own peace because of that? See, this is very difficult thing to we read something in the newspaper and then you have nothing to do with it. You cannot stop it, but you know that such a bad thing has happened. And so the whole day you keep on, whole day or many more days, you keep on worrying about it and muttering to yourself. The result was only result that it accrued was, it didn't mend the situation there. At least before that, you were peaceful. Now your peace also is gone. So instead of then this is what happens. Let us make the world peaceful. Forget about the world by this kind of thought to condemn this. This is violent. This is, let us go for protest. The result is you have spoiled the peace in you. That's it. It hasn't brought any peace there. Because it was not within your control to do it. And just thinking about it and mentally again and again trying to act on it, you have just spoiled the peace of your mind. So again, this is a cybernetic issue. This information came to you. How to respond to that information? Indifference, upeksha. That mudita upekshanam, that it is upeksha, means indifference. And do not get unnecessarily, unprofitably involved in it. You are not doing anything there, only racking up your otherwise peaceful brains. Don't do that. Are you responsible for running the world? One of the Swamis told a nice story, just know that it is about that Martin Luther King, not Junior, the one who founded this Protestant movement. So he that it is he founder of the Protestant church. So, but he used to be always saying then that, oh, I tell people, they don't listen. What is to be done? It is all these good things, but they don't do. And he would always be worried about it. Hmm. And one day he saw when he came back from one such endeavor to make people good, it is, he saw uh, his wife wearing a mourning dress, mourning dress. Say, why are you putting? Who passed away? No, very close relative of ours has passed away. Who? God. And God passed away. What do you mean? How can God pass away? God must have passed away. Otherwise, who gave you all this burden? That is the cares of God. And okay, since God has passed away, so now you have to worry about all these things. It is, don't worry about those things. It is, our worries are always centered on others. That it is, and thus we suffer. There is a nice joke I read in a book that I actually bought in Portland. There is that biggest bookstore in the world. Yeah, so I got that book of humor there. So there is one nice story told there, that one a bit old man suffering from those, dementia, and so was being taken for a walk in the garden, actually on a sea beach. In the sea beach, one attendant was pushing his chair, a wheelchair. And then now the seagulls are there, seagulls, and they were all moving around. And there are no special restrooms made for them. So it dropped something on the head of this fellow. And the attendant said, oh, that's all right. I will just run and get some water and a towel. In a minute, I'll be back. So he went, and this man muttered to himself, what a fool. By the time he comes, that seagull would have flown away many miles. So the attention was as if that fellow is bringing the water towel for that seagull to be washed. Was not thinking that things have fallen on his head. So it is, we are not concerned about, correcting ourselves. That seagull, and that, yes, that is how upeksha is very important. That do not unnecessarily get concerned about all these things happening in the world. They will keep on happening. Why you are worried? There is a very nice saying in Bengali that says that the Ravana died in Lanka, and then here in Kolkata or whatever that Bengal, this fellow started shouting and screaming and crying and all that because that now Ravan died there. You have no connection with Ravana, but still you just spoil the peace. So one must be very attentive about it. Do not, so many things happen in the world. That is the nature of the world. Otherwise, there will be no world at all. Let us have a conflict-less world. What you mean is that there should be no world at all. Conflict is very much needed. It is the material with which the world is made. So there will be conflicts, but you can do another thing. You can make yourself peaceful. This is a very important thing that Swami Vivekananda teaches in Karma Yoga. A great treatise, friends, a very small book, but I can assure you, so many of our problems in life will get solved by that little book, Karma Yoga. And there he addresses one of these tendencies in us to correct the world, to make the world straighten, remove all the problems in the world. Let me help the world. And Vivekananda says there that no, you cannot help the world. Impossible. You have your own ideas of what is good to the world. It is, you decide that what is good to the world. There are 7.5 billion people here, and they each has a different idea of doing good to the world. Like that little child playing there, then if you ask what is the good for the world, she may say, give everybody a lot of chocolates and there will be peace in the world. But that is her idea of, making the world peaceful. That is, so everybody has a pet idea that this is what is going to bring the good to the world. But world is not so small. You cannot make the world happy, peaceful, and nice. And there is a seeming paradox there. But still you must try to do good to the world. Try to do good to the world. The world will remain as it is. The purpose of this world is like a gymnasium. You go to gymnasium for what? And to change the instruments there or to strengthen yourself. It is so this world provides you the opportunity to do good to the world, try to do good to the world, but it strengthens you. It is a moral exercise. That is the word Vivekananda uses there. It provides you a moral exercise. So he says that the world is like the curly tail of dog. Even if you try to straighten it, it doesn't get straightened. You put it in a pipe and take it out again, it becomes curly. So this world always is like that. And still you must keep on making that attempt, The tail of the dog will not get straightened. But in that attempt, our mind will get straightened. And that is what we want. It is a very important aspect that if I want peace, let us respond to different situations in this way as Patanjali has described. And Chitta Prasadanam, he assures there, by this our mind will become peaceful, happy, and disposed very pleasantly to everybody. So that is the message of this Psycho-Cybernetics. So I have taken a little longer time because our Chandrasekharanandji told, hey, talk whatever you want, as long as you want. So it is. And I have used the this freedom that he gave to keep on talking for a longer time. So let me now conclude. It is happens, it is one preachers, they have this habit. So one preacher was, he was told by his congregation again and again, and cut your talk short. And don't keep on speaking for such a long time. So he one day came on one Sunday and said, today, after listening to the suggestions of all of you, I have determined to cut my talk short no matter how long it takes to do it. So, my thanks to Chandrasekharananji, Devi Sharanji, and all these wonderful friends here who gave me such a happy time. I am thankful for the wonderful hospitality extended to me. And I invite you all to Providence. It is like a small center, but a nice one. So sometimes you can feel free to come there as well. So I conclude with the salutations to Thakur Ma Swamiji. Jadanim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharini.
Any question from the audience? Question and answer. No, I just to propose the vote of thanks.
Om Apyanavarjitaha Svena Palarajena Sannataha Arpakairapi Griyante Sadhu Santana Shakirana. The meaning is, generous people, like the right grain, will bend down with their weight of their own fruit so that even children can access them, thus indicating generous or easily accessible even for the weak and ignorant. So this is from Sanskrit Subhashitam written by Vedanta Deshika. It has been such blessedness to be part of this spiritual gathering for 2 days. For 2 days, we have been hearing the enlightening Adi Shankaracharya's Vedantic message of Dakshinamurti hymn, blended with humor from our revered speaker Swamiji. I'm sure this is a memorable guide in our spiritual path. Swamiji gave us a new perspective for us to understand how our Vedantic self-realization could be practiced with humor by making it simple. So firstly, with humble prayers and devotional salutations, I thank our Holy Trio for blessing us to participate in this convention. On behalf of the Vedanta Society of Portland members and devotees, I would like to extend my heartfelt, humble gratitude and salutations to our esteemed guest revered Swami Yogatmananda Ji Maharaj, Minister in charge of Vedanta Society of Providence. Also, our humble gratitude to revered Swami Chandrasekharananda Ji for facilitating and organizing this wonderful session for our spiritual welfare. Also, I express my humble gratitude to the following participants. Vedic recitation by Jyoti and Jyotima and Asaurima, and Mr. Shayan Dev Shina for his efficient and focused virtual communication management, Mr. Scobie and Mrs. Chandaroy for their wonderful musical rendition, Mr. Paul for microphone facilitation, all members of cooking and serving team. Lastly, my humble gratitude and salutations to all audience. So with this, we conclude our retreat in peace. I pray to the Holy Trio to forgive and forbear all our mistakes and bless us for God realization. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
So we all are very grateful to Swamiji and also to all of you. Thank you very much for enriching Swamiji, enriching us, and also to participate in this function. So now we have last item, a closing song, and after that, we are waiting for prasad, like after this. So please, all are invited to have something. And before that, we'll have a chanting of mantra before taking prasad. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, let me sow pardon. Where there is doubt, let me sow faith. It is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born. That we are born to eternal life. If you want your dream to be, build it slow and surely. Small beginnings, greater ends. Simple joys are holy. If you want to live life free, take your time, go slowly. Do few things, but do them well. Heartfelt work grows purely. Day by day, stone by stone, build your secret slowly. Day by day, you'll grow too. You'll know heaven's glory. If you want your dream to be, build it slow and surely. Small beginnings, greater ends. Heartfelt work grows purely. Jai Sri Guru Maharaj Ji ki Jai. Jai Mahamayi ki Jai.
Jai Swami Ji Maharaj Ji ki Jai.
Thank you. Thank you all. So please have to join in our podcast.